I'm very excited to talk about the latest game I completed, Hollow Knight, a game that's been on my bucket list for a very long time. And lately, I feel like I'm just hitting home runs. I've been playing some amazing games lately. I beat Red Dead, Sekiro, Lies of P, and Hollow Knight is no exception. So, before we get in the meat and potatoes of the review, what exactly is Hollow Knight? Well, Hollow Knight is a 2D side scrolling Metroidvania game with some Souls elements in it. I've heard people say it's Souls like. I wouldn't go that far, but I can definitely see where they're coming from. Hollow Knight originally came out in February 24th of 2017, created by Team Cherry, which is apparently a three-man team based out of Australia, which is incredibly impressive. And also, I wanted to point out Christopher Larkin, the composer of the music in this game, and we'll get into detail of that here in a bit. So in our review today, first off, we're going to go over the graphics and music of this game, followed up by gameplay, then the story, and finally our verdict on the game. So let's get into it. When you first boot up the game, the first thing you're going to notice is just how gorgeous this game is. The visuals are just so beautiful and varied throughout. There's a lot of darker tones and colors throughout most of the game, but there are locations that have a little bit more color to them. Green Path, Crystal Peak, just for a few examples. It's a hand-drawn style and it really pops. Even character models look amazing, effects when you're doing different abilities and moves. It all is so gorgeous when it's just blended in together, all the different colors. And visually, it's just, I personally love this style so much and I think it looks freaking amazing. With that being said, as much praise as I can give the graphics, even better than the graphics is the sound and the music in this game. My goodness, just from the title screen when you first put the game in, like from there on, I was like, holy crap, what are we about to just experience right now? And I would describe the music in Hollow Knight as somber, melancholy, and even haunting at times. Here's a little clip of an area called The Abyss, just so you can get an idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, right. I know. The music in this game is so damn good, and Christopher Larkin deserves the highest of praise. And I know I'm discussing the graphics and music at the moment, but I would say if you're making that argument if video games are art or not, Hollow Knight is one of the best examples you can use to make your case of video games being art. And the gameplay, which we're about to discuss, is a huge reason for that as well. Actual combat in Hollow Knight starts out pretty simple. When you first start the game, you don't really have much to work with. You have your little sword, aka the nail, and you can jump and you can hit stuff on the sides, top, down, and that's pretty much all you start out with. But very quickly you start getting new abilities in very traditional Metroidvania style. You start getting new combat abilities, traversal abilities. Sticking to the combat for now, you start getting spells such as a soul shot, you have a dive, but also another very significant piece of the gameplay are these charms that you get to use. And these charms can really change how you play the game in terms of how you navigate, how you fight, and it adds a lot of flexibility as to how you want to play the game. And at first, you won't have a lot of them to use, and you won't have a lot of notches to use multiple charms. But eventually, as you keep going, you'll find them throughout the map, and some of these can be very well hidden and very hard to get. And just to give you some examples, there are charms that extend the length of your nail, the power of your nail, even how quickly you can dash. If you know about Hollow Knight, then you probably have heard that it's a pretty difficult game. And yeah, I would agree with that. Some of the exploration, some of the platforming, some of the bosses, it can be pretty difficult. I would say boss-wise, it's not too hard. I mean, I come from playing, all the Souls games, Souls-like games. So for me, not too bad. There are some moments though, some bosses that if you want to look for the challenge, it's there. But for the main game with a little bit of effort and exploration, you'll be fine. With that being said, the exploration is my favorite aspect of this game, and in case you haven't played a Metroidvania style game, simply what I consider those to be are games that you have areas that you necessarily can't access right away, and as you keep exploring, you get new abilities, you get new ways to travel the map, and you open new areas. And that's pretty much how Hollow Knight is. And also, along with these types of games, you usually have a lot of secret areas, secret items. There's a bunch of hidden walls. You need different abilities to get to different areas, and Hollow Knight has a ton of that. And just to dig a little bit further into the traversal tools, they were very clever as to the way they implemented these in this game. A lot of these are very standard, right? A double jump, a dash, a wall cling. But then you have things like the Crystal Heart, which I was not expecting to see, and is a very, very cool tool. One of my favorite tools I've seen in a Metroidvania style game. And I've played all the Metroid games, I played Guacamelee, and I think they did a really good job of implementing the standard tools we're used to, but also putting their fresh little spin and making sure that everything kind of fits in and works well together. And I think nothing shows this better than the map itself. The map of this game in Hollow Nest is quite intricate, it's all interconnected, and it flows really, really well. There's so many different paths you can take. I bet you that most people don't have the same experience with this game their first time around. There's many hidden paths, you can go out of route, and there's always things that you see like, oh, I have to go back to this and that. And it's interesting how they work the map in this game, because you have to kind of work to get your map and to get markers, but the game really wants you to kind of feel it out and figure out where you have to go. And in true Metroidvania style, you'll sometimes get lost in these kinds of games. And to me, that's kind of part of the charm, you know, exploring, see how far you can go somewhere, noticing where you can come back later. And I just think overall, the world and the map of Hollow Knight is quite brilliant. Now we get to the story, where I can see the heavy comparisons to Dark Souls-like games. Because the story in this game, well, it's not in your face. It's hidden behind item descriptions, cryptic NPC conversations. It's there, the lore is there, you just gotta have to dig for it a little bit. And I really like that. The game, it has a certain feel to it at all times, and you have a mission that you know you have to do, but you're not necessarily sure why, or your background. Your main character, the knight, well, you don't know much about who he is, where he's from, or what he's motivated to do. But as the game goes on, you'll start getting an idea of what's going down and what's happened to this world of Hollow Nest, that really from the first moment you step foot in it, it just feels doomed. It feels like it's its last breath. Now, I'm not going to give away any spoilers as to what happens in the end. I'll just say that I really enjoyed where the story ended up going. And at this point, you know, I've looked up YouTube videos and all those lore videos you can find, and I really like all the details behind it, and I enjoyed their approach very much. So, what are my final thoughts on Hollow Knight? Well, Hollow Knight is a game that I've been trying to play for a very long time, and I can't believe it took me this long to play it. I'm so happy I finally beat it, and it's one of the most wonderful gaming experiences I've ever had. And I feel like I've been saying that a lot, but really Hollow Knight stacks up with some of the best games I've ever played. It is a game that from start to finish, you can tell was made with love. From the gameplay to the music to the graphics, the story, everything of this game was well thought out, and with such an attention to detail. I would recommend Hollow Knight to any gamer out there, and really it was such a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to play it all over again. And without a doubt in my mind, Hollow Knight is a perfect 10 out of 10. And I want to thank everybody on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. And I want to do a special shout out to two people who were on pretty much every stream for this game, Hidden Leaf and Oliver. Thank you guys so much. Thanks everyone who jumped in to watch, who supports the channel. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a great day. See ya.